I'm Jake Schriner.
I'm Tracey White. I was waiting.
I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, and this is the Compass Conversation podcast. Sans Pastor Bob.
Sans Bob.
Sans Bob. The Sans Bob cast. Oh, wait. The Bobcast.
Here's your catchphrase. Sans Bob.
Oh, man. All right. I don't know where to break and go to the music. I don't know. Okay.
That would be it.
And we will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus. All right, here we are back again. Hey, thank you for joining us this evening. You have arrived at the Compass Conversation podcast, which, by the way, has been getting a fairly good, by comparison, in the last year, we've had a few more people who've been watching.
How about that?
Yeah, so that's good. Welcome, friends.
We're just going to, everybody out there.
Like and share, and I know it sounds so cornball, but it
Smash
really...
that thumbs up.
Smash that thumbs up button, man.
Bunch of dorks sitting around the table. We're good. Yeah, it's good.
Well, all right. Well, yeah, but yeah, no, it actually does help, strangely enough. I mean, it gets YouTube to show it to more people. And
Yep.
anyway, yeah. Welcome. Well, all right, let's go around the table and see how everybody's doing
In a triangle formation.
in a triangular fashion. You know what, Jake? You know, these glasses you're wearing, they're very cool. I didn't mention that earlier. Is this kind of a new thing, or are you just your eyes are giving you trouble?
No, not really. I just give my eyes a break from the contacts. I usually wear contacts almost exclusively. But every once in a while I'll step out in public with my glasses on.
Yeah,
Right on.
yeah. Looks great. You look very scholarly. Maybe
And with
you
your
should,
hair back, yeah, it looks like you should be like a professor, or something.
All right, Jake, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Turn that over fast.
Yeah, I'm good. Today was, as far as work goes, it was nice. I got to spend most of my day out in the shop working on a new saw that we're setting up. So it's always nice to get out of the office, get my hands dirty, and not have to deal with people for the day. So plus when I'm out in the shop, all of my guys sense my presence, and everybody works just a little more.
Nice.
It's a different mindset when your boss could poke his head around the corner at any time.
Yes.
Hey, what are you doing? No, I don't. I'm not certainly not a hard boss to work for. I don't crack the whip or anything. Like, as long as the guys are moving, I'm not expecting them to sweat. Like, just keep doing the work we're giving you, and no one's gonna have any problems. But no, so my day was good. Friday we did the seed swap. Bob and I went there at Mission Viejo Library. That was a lot of fun.
Talking about
yes,
that.
we were. That was a lot of fun. I got there a few minutes before Bob and walked in, and there was like 30 people in the room.
Wow.
I was one of like 2 guys.
Oh,
Yeah, it was all like women sitting around, and nobody was looking at the seeds on the tables yet.
Yeah.
And I was.
You scope it out?
I was just going to look and see what was available. I joked as soon as they basically said go. I joked with Bob. I was like, all right, you play defense. Just box them out.
Little elbows here and there. Get some seeds.
But we got a ton of bell pepper seeds, carrot seeds, picked up cucumbers, some broccoli, a lot of stuff we were looking at. And so I actually have a little show and tell here.
What is this?
That is the next year's garden plan.
This is fantastic. I don't think
so. We wanted to do bigger sections of.
I'll scan it, maybe throw it in.
We want to do bigger sections of stuff and fewer things. So
this is great.
Lots of space, and the only thing that I think we wanted to do was I think we want to do some broccoli again because that did really, really well. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably sacrifice part of the carrots or the onions and do some broccoli there or something. But yeah, so that's
sacrifice the carrots.
Yeah, we can rearrange.
Build an altar.
Raisin Ebenezer.
Speaking of which, total side note.
Yeah.
I've been going through the Old Testament, and
This is
what
great.
is
fantastic beef.
What's the beef with yeast? In like I get the Passover thing, but if you read further into Exodus and Leviticus and stuff, all the sacrifices and everything, it's all bread without yeast.
Yeah.
Everything's without yeast. Maybe that's one of our.
Well, that's a great question. I know that the idea of the yeast is that it is something that permeates and goes throughout, and something And so perhaps, and again, this is a curveball. I didn't prepare for tonight's study, but it may have something to do with that. But I will tell you this: that in the Levitical things, there are certain things that are very, it does sound Monty Python like, right?
Yes.
Right. Only on Thursday and during the sun. Okay. But here's the thing: during some of that time, God was, He was refining this people group.
Yes.
To be a people called out for His purpose, very different from the neighboring nations and people. And it almost seems, now, this is not from the Leckie commentary, all right? So this is just sort of a take I get sometimes about some of this. It's almost as if He's teaching them to obey, right?
Right. Okay.
And so sometimes He will say a certain thing here and a certain thing here, and it seems kind of random, but it reminds me of the Van Halen contract, right?
Yeah, the M&Ms and
it's like have certain M&Ms or whatever. And the whole point was just to make sure they were reading the contract.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm never gonna. Don't quote me on this. All right, it's not a definitive thing, but I do think that there are certain things that were. Particular things, almost everything, I said this even Sunday, there's no small, there's no throwaway. There's usually rich meaning in most things. But sometimes I think that some of those patterns and the rituals and the stuff was to get them to learn to obey and just do what God tells them and to trust Him, and to just do the thing, right?
There's many instances of where if they don't follow it specifically, somebody dies.
Yeah, well,
it's in a flame, and God's response is, "You didn't listen to me."
Yeah.
And then they just...
some of it, too, again, I know we've talked about this before, but we're already into the podcast.
Yeah, that's okay.
I don't even know how you're doing.
That's okay.
Nobody knows how I'm doing. So let's get into it.
No, I like
That's fantastic.
If you can't pay attention to little details like that, then how are you going to pay attention to the other things that people look at and they're like, what is it, unclean till sundown? Hey, there was a lot of sanitary reasons and health reasons and stuff like that. A lot of those rules, because you had a bunch of people living in close proximity, and you wanted there to be a healthy environment for people to live in. So, yeah.
I also think that fundamentally, most humanity does not realize the depth of their own sinfulness. And they don't understand the magnitude of God's holiness. And so one of the stories I think of is you have King David, right? God's been with David. He's had all these great things happen. There's this incident when Uzzah, what a name, and Ahio, they are, once again, I'm off notes, but they're celebrating, right, the victory that God has given them. And everybody's celebrating, the trumpet, right? I'm picturing like the New Orleans jazz down the streets.
Horns going.
And they take the Ark of God, right? The Ark of the Covenant, Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? And they put it on a brand new, beautiful cart, right? And as it's going, while it's on the cart, it stumbles, it hits a bump or something, and one of these guys reaches up to kind of steady it, and he immediately dies.
Yeah.
And so here's David, King David, and King David's response initially is not, "Oh, the Lord has been..." He's mad.
Yeah.
He's mad at God.
Yeah.
He's like, "What is this?" Right? But here's the thing. They weren't doing it right.
Right. They're supposed to carry.
There was a very specific way that God had told them to do it.
There's a table.
And they had, and they just, even though it was brand new and pretty and, "Hey, look what we did for you, God," right? They did not obey Him.
Right.
They were actually slightly thumbing their nose at what He had told them to do, right? This is as if it was like, yeah. Well, look at the nice thing we made for you, God, right? It's not what I told you to do, but we made it really pretty. But anyway, so I think some of that happens in those instances. Now, there's some instances in the Old Testament, I think, where someone does die over something like that, and it is jarring, and it's not something you just. I could even flippantly say, "Oh, well, the reason is because,"
Yeah.
There are some things that are still a bit of a mystery of why, but often they go back to a specific time in the nation of Israel and what God was trying to do in them and with them, and it was very, very important that it turns out that way. But anyway, we've made our way down the mulch path.
Yeah. There's
Well, I'm glad that
2 more mulch paths.
you're doing well. See, here's the thing: it's because you're wearing the glasses. You're being scholarly and questioning. It's excellent. But we could come back to that though. We could come back to that question a little bit more in depth. But that's my general take.
I like it.
Off the cuff, anyway.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right, Tracy, how are you?
Doing well. It's a Monday.
Any theological questions you like to dive into? I'm just kidding. Go ahead, man.
In our weekly resource meeting this morning, I got to tell the whole management group, I was like, oh yeah, I'll be taking Wednesday off because I'll be in interviews all day. And I just kind of left it at that. I had already talked to my manager about, because what we're doing is retiring the Air Force and we're going to hire somebody to take my job there. And that's what the interviews are. And so he already knew that, and he kind of brought it up, and I carried it through, and we were gonna just kind of let it lie, and people were just kind of like, and so I had to say, oh yeah, not for this job. It's for the job that I'm with. And yeah, so that was kind of fun.
That's funny.
So outside of that, I'm very happy to see most of my yard.
Yeah,
now
at least till Wednesday.
until Wednesday. Maybe we're gonna get dumped on again. Is
It's
that
possibly,
what it is?
yes.
Yeah, very possible. Hopefully not. I'm really looking for. This is the time of year where Colorado gets pretty bipolar.
It does.
And
It's still
it-
February. It's not even March. March
Yeah,
is
I know
the crazy
March is
month.
really
Yeah.
the crazy one, but yeah, we're mid-February, so. And then lastly, it's Morey's birthday today. Happy birthday,
Oh,
brother!
is
Happy
that
birthday,
right?
Morey. Yeah,
Happy birthday, Morey.
he's like 36.
T.
You're welcome, Johnny.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
how was your day?
My day was fine. It was a typical Monday. This is the big day, all that stuff. But I will say this, that what I've been doing over the past week has been this little thing called valograms. Dun, 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 dun. I'm Dr. Lowe. Boom, boom, boom.
Tomorrow's the day.
That's right. So valograms, they're $3, right? $3 a piece, and you get this kind of bag, and there's a form you fill out. You put who it's to, what homeroom that person is in, just to be clear, and then a little note from you.
Oh,
Yeah, and you can put your name on it or not, whatever, and then $3 cash. So I spent a lot of time this past week pulling staples of money off of the forms that are the forms. I'm not rewriting the notes. They're going with the thing, right? Scotch tape. Scotch tape money, when you pull off Scotch tape, it takes some of the ink away.
you know what? If somebody
Strange.
would, I don't know, invent something, maybe a wire that they can kind of twirl into an oblong shape, and then you can just kind of clip paper with them.
Yeah, maybe you
Call
could even
it a
call it that. Paper. We may be onto something.
Yep. Let's do it.
That would have been wonderful. But I got stuff in baggies. I got stuff in. Collected a big chunk of money
Huh?
over the past week. A lot of coin.
Oh,
A lot of wadded up dollars.
oh no.
Oh, it was just an annoying experience. I would go into every class, so I'm like a dude off Sesame Street with his cart going around. Hello, hi children, do you have any valograms for me? Anyway, so collecting these things is really annoying. And then as we're getting to the end of the week, it's like Friday was the cutoff, right? The end. And I had all of this money, all this stuff, very annoying, but I had to, keep very close track of it all and, keep good records of everything, make sure all of the forms were as they were supposed to be and all that stuff. And near the end of the day, well, let me put it this way. On Friday, Lori, principal, comes through. She goes, Johnny, can you give me an estimate of where we are? I was like, I'm sorry, they're still coming in today. I had to stack this high on my desk in there, right?
Wow.
Like I'm working on it, but I have to be at the cafeteria at 10. I said, my goal is to have this, give you a good idea by 10 o'clock. She goes, okay, all right, good, awesome. Well, by 10, there was no way, because it was just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So, because about 80% of them, all of them, came in on Friday. So I go through the whole afternoon, I'm thinking, well, I'm going to get this to her afterwards. After lunch, I start by lunch. She goes, okay, by lunch, okay, excellent, great. So I'm feeling the pressure now, because like she really needs to know.
Yeah.
I know the story's too long, I know we don't have time. But anyhow, so I'm like, okay, no problem. So I'm just trying to work on that, and then Susie comes in from the office. She has a little stack. Oh, wait, I'm already done. I've already collected them. This came in the afternoon, like parents who stopped by. Can I still get a valogram for my daughter? And this was to grandma. And and can you change a 50? It's like, what?
Yeah, here's some coins.
I got a one stack this high.
Goodness.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it kind of all came down to I had a 50, I had 20s, I had 10s, I had a ton of ones, a big bag full of coins, including a peso and 2 foreign coins I never even knew what they were. A check for $3.
Wow.
So anyway, so I'm already kind of doing this, and I'm feeling that pressure, trying to get it good done, and then Jeannie comes in, and she has another stack. I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm trying to get the final tally, so now I have to rework everything. Well, Luis is amazing, right? And he's laughing his head off.
I can see that.
All right, but here's the thing about Luis. He always has my back, though. He goes, man, don't you keep doing that. I'll go outside and take care of Lola. And when he started seeing that there were teachers that were still bringing some into me at the end of the day, and I was having to erase things and start again. He was like, look, I'll go around, and he went around to every class, just to make sure that Johnny's working on this. He really needs to get this done. But then,
Oh no.
I could hear him coming down the hallway, and it was kind of like, you're not gonna like this. I got news for you. Oh, why? Because there are a couple of teachers who still have some. This is like the third time now after a new stack. I'm like, are you kidding me? So he kept laughing at my reactions. I kept making them more theatrical with each poem. Anyway, but then what happened was, after I finally had them all in, and then another one in, so he goes, oh man, I wish I could stay away. This is like watching a hilarious soap opera. Emotion. I gotta go. No man, get out of here. So he was gone for maybe a minute. And so I'm sitting there, it's finally quiet, and a teacher is at the door and says, is it too late to give you a valogram? And I went, are you serious? And I look over, and standing behind her is Luis. And he's going, psych! He made her do it. It wasn't even real. She was like, he told me to say that. He was like,
That's awesome.
Anyway, so
Good
that's
for
how.
you, Luis.
So yeah, so there's more to that valogram story, but that was too long anyway. But
That's okay.
all right, well, let's talk quickly about the weekend since I just dominated all that time. We gotta talk.
Good news is we really only covered one more verse, so.
Right?
And it was a short message because we had more supper.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did. It's very nice.
I don't know if you read the
I read it, yeah.
the notes in there. They were supposed to up to verse 5,
It was gonna go up to verse 5.
but we got through verse 2, which is important.
Yeah, now the week before, and I said this, and I was serious, I only intended to do verse 1. I did hope that I was going to get through 5, but I started realizing if I go through 5 today, it's going to, first of all, I'm not going to do it justice because it's really important, those verses.
Yeah.
And when we get to the end of actually verse 2, 3 through 5, there's a lot there I want us to talk about because it actually, more than any of the stuff so far, really impacts us, our church, right now, 21st century. There's some things from that I want to share. So I just thought, I want to do that justice. And I also wanted to do Lord's Supper time justice. Right?
Yeah.
Now, I know we could do Lord's Supper every week. We could do that. But I do like being able to pause, really focus on it. You know, I don't know if you've noticed, but we're doing it a little bit more frequently also this year. So those are already planned throughout the rest of the year, and some of them are going to be even a little bit more interesting in the way in environment and stuff. So that's gonna be cool.
Cool.
So that's why. So it was there,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was a decision. Yeah, kind of made that morning, honestly.
That's cool.
So I was hoping, but I just thought nope. And also, by the way, I didn't even get to speak because we had the delay with some of the technical stuff. Do you guys know what happened there?
No.
It was through Facebook. I hate. Love you, Facebook peoples.
Facebook is listening. Be careful.
Yeah, it is. But suddenly our service went live on my personal Facebook feed.
Oh.
Because he didn't
Switch it over.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's changed too. Facebook keeps changing the way they're doing all that stuff too. It's really weird. So anyway, so the first part of the countdown was me live doing that. And so they had to fix that, and then we got a little bit of a late start. And on days like that when there's lots to do, I really wanted us to start right on time, and
it was all good.
Along, but
didn't even notice that. Well, I mean, we were there, so we weren't watching a stream or anything, I guess. But
well, it was I thought it was a sweet service in many ways. I was happy to see the people who were there and participating in it. What else?
Got a couple of people that are like becoming more of like regulars, and I'm digging that.
Yes.
You know who you are.
That's true. And speaking of Luis, by the way, I was proud he was there. Because we took his name in vain last week. And, and that's why I said you must have seen the podcast. And he was like, no, I didn't. I feel like I should be here. So anyway, and that's cool too because he makes a drive. He's coming from downtown Denver and driving in here. So I'm always happy to see.
There's an effort involved,
absolutely.
And it's appreciated. Yeah.
Well, any other standout moments? I know we're just trying to hurry here a little bit, but
no, just the lesson. I thought it was great. You know, you have a real talent for doing a whole lesson on like one show. But like you said, it's really important. Right?
It
and
is
important. I think digging into that because it's what they did, right? Yeah. And so you talk about that, but you talk about how we should also do that too, and the reasons why, and stuff like that, which I think was the powerful part of the message. So
I appreciate the nice.
I love
thing
that.
You just said.
By the way, 1 Thessalonians 1:2, we always thank God for all of you, making mention of you constantly in our prayers, and just that everything behind that one sentence that they're thankful for.
Yeah.
All
of the people.
Yep.
Not just a couple of them, but all of them.
All of them.
And they constantly pray about them, for them, like all the time, which is really, we talk about, before the camera rolls, we talk about certain things and all that. And that's, I think about that. I'm like, we should always pray for the people that, that we have concerns for, our heart goes out to and stuff like that, because we love them.
Because we love them. And it's powerful. It's a powerful thing. I mean, I've taught on prayer. I'll continue to teach on prayer. But, and there's a mystery even to prayer. I mean, if you think about it. And I remember Melissa has asked these questions very honestly along the way. It's like, so if I don't pray, does that mean God's not going to do a certain thing? Am I making God do something? It's a great, honest question. How does this work?
It is.
And that's why I generally talk about prayer in terms of being engaged with God.
Right.
Right? And with Him and in His will and in what He's doing.
Prayer isn't necessarily like a ritual. Can you remember the prayer that you talked about yesterday? It was really in reference to the people who pray to make themselves look good with all their words.
Our Heavenly Father, we beseech Thee in Thine omnipotent omniscience and omnipresence to bequeath our... I don't know. Well, anyway,
Well, I think it's important to pick, some good, honest time to address God. Because He is
Yeah,
the holiness, right? He's
Yeah,
God.
of
He's the
course.
creator of the universe, right? But he's also an approachable God,
Yeah.
where you can just be going about your day and go, "Oh God, help me."
Mm-hmm.
And that's
You got
good.
to go to
That's
your
good.
closet.
Yeah, no, you don't. Don't go to your closet.
No, I think that's a good point. Like, there's the like praying internally or by yourself. You're clearly not doing that for any sort of glory or outward recognition, approval, some praise from somebody else. That's not what it's about. It's about you connecting and communicating with God, what's on your heart, and your worries and fears and whatever else, and your thanks too.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Is your thanks and your praise for Him. Like that's so that should all be encompassed in there. But that's like that happens on the inside with you. Like that's not something. Yeah, when I'm just gonna stand up there and say my prayers really loud and hope somebody else hears me saying them, and
The Pharisees did that, man.
Yeah.
That's what they
Yeah.
did. They had these long, kind of prayer shawls and stuff, and they loved that recognition.
look how holy we are.
Oh,
yeah, it's
But anyway, there's so many things about prayer I was going to talk about and can talk about that are a springboard out of even that one little verse. But here's the important thing, and this is something I was alluding to a little bit earlier. It's one thing to talk about prayer a lot. It's another thing for us to actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so even with certain things that we're building into our calendar, we're going to be praying together more as a church as we go into the next year. And I'll describe more of that throughout this series too. So, little teaser.
cool.
Teaser.
Teaser.
Taser? No,
Hey,
no
taser?
No taser.
No tasers.
No taser with the taser. All right, so anyway, I don't even know. There was something else about yesterday I was going to mention. But you know what? The craft worked. That was great.
Yeah,
The little rockets.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're fully getting the whole mindset. But yeah, we're on that kind of be doers of the word, don't just hear it. So it's like the base was like the Bible, the word. But you don't just sit there. You need to move and do what it's.
I think those kids were launching rockets better than Elon Musk. Who does a very good job of launching rockets.
Yes, he do. Well, all right. Well, is there anything else then, guys? You guys who's gonna be able to join me on Friday?
I think we're planning on being there.
Maybe.
I don't think so. My folks are getting into town.
Oh, are they? Good, good.
6:30, 7 o'clock. So,
Oh, great.
but they'll be with us next Sunday.
Bring
so
them
although
over.
Colette is working, but
Bring them over
the
for
rest
some
of us
time.
are.
So you're just in time. Come on over and have some tacos.
Wait till she gets a little more
Well, they're-
seniority and then go, I'm
They're
not doing
driving.
Sundays
They're
anymore.
driving.
Driving.
Too, so it's like a
yeah.
13-hour drive. And we're like, hey, I'm glad you're here. Get in the car.
I'm gonna have some tacos. Like you said. All right.
We'll be there. Just let us know what we need to bring. And
Eat, man, bring whatever you want.
all right.
It's the the theme, but you don't have to stick with it.
We just need to know what you need.
Oh, okay. I'm going to send out another one.
Churros or chimichangas or something.
We're going to have tamales again, for sure.
Nice.
All right, well, you know what? It's time to move on. We're out of time.
Yeah.
I want to go ahead and share with you John 3:16 tonight. A very passion verse. It's one of those heart verses of our church. It's simply this: For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, or His one and only Son, that whosoever believes in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. So that's our good word to you tonight. Well, all right, guys, anything else before we hit these final words? All right, well, we meet somewhere in the world every single week, but always online. You can find us on Facebook by searching for Compass Church Colorado. You can discover more at compassdenver.com, and we would love to have you as our guest this Sunday. All right, guys, final words.
Love you guys. Love everyone out there.
Despite earlier expectations, this has been great.
That's true. That was pre-podcast, right? Commentary you're making there. All right. Grace to you and peace. That's all we have for tonight, and we are out. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Farewell.
See you later.
Catch you later.
Adios.
We will follow you. We're not going to follow you. But we're gonna, okay. This is fantastic.
No corn this year, huh?
I spelled zucchini wrong.